Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We have a special guest. I'll call him CCC celebrity around these parts, Uriel Gonzalez.
Hi guys, my name is Uriel Gonzalez. I not recently, I graduated from Northbrook High School a while ago, maybe in the dinosaur ages. I'm currently attending Texas A&M University. I am studying business slash financial planning, and I'll be graduating this fall. It's actually this December, so it'll be pretty soon.
That is so exciting. We're so happy, so proud, so ready for the next part of your journey, Uriel.
It'll be interesting.
So, what we'll start with today, of course, our topic of discussion for the day is networking. So, we're going to ask Uriel a couple of questions about networking. He's done a very good job at networking and taking advantage of some great opportunities. So, we'll start with Uriel. What does networking mean to you? What does it mean to have a network?
So networking, I think you know, networking can be kind of hard to explain, but for me, networking is pretty much the process of interacting with just others, right? With other people, exchanging your information with them, and just developing professional or social contracts with them.
Good. Thank you. Okay. So, why do you think it's beneficial? How can networking help you, whether it be in high school, getting to college, when you're in college, after college? How can it help you?
I think networking is so beneficial. I think it's important to be networking with just anyone you meet. I have a good story with uh, my friend. His name's Sujay. I used to work with him. Right, he used to work at CCC back around 3 years ago, and he's coming in from Michigan, I believe,
Mhm.
and he was brand new out of state. I came in the job, I was working there, we were interning both, and I just being me, I just talked to him. Um, I just I think it's a great story, honestly. The way I bonded with him was crazy. So we bonded basically off Burger King, because at the CCC office, back in Sugarland where they used to be at, there was this just straight ahead road, and there was just one Burger King there. And Suja and I, apparently, we love Burger King so much. Every time during lunch, we would just go there and get our 2 for 5s. So recently, not yeah, recently, I'm currently in the job process right now, applying, and Miss Kathy came up across one of Sujay's companies. He currently works with Granger, which is an amazing company, and I've been following Sujay. I got that network, got his contact. I've been following him through LinkedIn, and this position opened up, which is a really good position. So I hit up Sujay. I haven't spoken with Sujay for maybe 2.5 years or so, but I've seen how active he is on LinkedIn, how active he is for his company. He's always talking about how great his company is. So I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, Sujay," I was like, "Hey, man, I miss you. I miss our Burger King runs." And then I went straight for it, right? I was like, "Hey, um, this position opened up for your company. I'm interested. I've already finished the application, but before I submit, is there anything I need to know about your company, or is there anything that can benefit me or help me um, get my foot in the door much quicker?" He was like, "Dude, like 2 years and a half, right? Like nothing." He was like, "Hey, man, it's good to hear from you. I miss our Burger King runs. Don't worry, I'll put in a good referral for you." And he really did. 2 minutes later, I got an email saying you've been referred from Sujay for Granger, and I was like, "Hey, there it is, right? The power of a network." Two and
Yeah.
a half, 3 years later, who knew? And on top of that, another fun story about that was, I was linked in my LinkedIn, and LinkedIn tells you what companies are looking at you, right? What companies are looking for your profile, and trust me, I'm not lying. 2 days later, a notification popped up saying Granger was looking at my profile.
Mm.
I'm like, what? Granger? Like, this is crazy. But this is why networking is important, because you don't know when it's going to benefit you. it benefited me 3 years later, right? So it's important to keep in touch, but build a relationship with anyone you meet because you never know when they'll be there to help you out.
Mhm. A couple of things you mentioned there, like you just said, you might not have, you hadn't spoke to him in 2.5 years, but as soon as you hit him up because of the relationship that you had formed here at CCC, no, it was almost as if no time had passed. It was just like, hey, what's up? Miss you? How's life? How's everything going? Let me tell you what I kind of need and how you can help me, in my next step. So that's great. That's
Yeah, and
exactly how it
people
works.
people are always happy to help you, especially if you built that relationship well.
Good, absolutely. I do want to touch on one more thing you said. You mentioned some of the relationships and how you can start that networking process. So, kind of talk about, is networking only professional, or do you like, how can you get networking? I guess, how can you make those connections? Does it have to be professional with a future boss or employee, or can it be like with a teacher or a friend?
Networking can be with anyone. When I network, I don't think about how it's going to benefit me, or I don't have a sole purpose. I just, I'm out there. Whoever comes, I can make a friend, basically, right? And just by making a friend, that right there is networking. So I think it's important, right? You can make friends with your teacher, with just pretty much anyone, and somehow you've already gained them. That's your network right there. Just by being a friend, just by being there for them, and them being there for you. So it doesn't matter if you're just networking just to have a professional relationship. It can just be anything. So
Good point. Good point. Okay, so speaking of networking, what are some of the different skills you found to be helpful in your process of building your network?
so I think this is a great question, and I think for me the most important skill that I've learned to be helpful is find something in common, right? Let's bring it back with Sujay. The most like I never met this guy ever. He's far away. I don't know, 2, 3 states away from here, and somehow we bonded over fast food. He loves his chicken nuggets, and I'm a fan of nuggets as well. So something small as that, something as common as that, you get to bond with someone. So I think that's the most helpful.
It's crazy to think chicken nuggets at Burger King landed you, an interview and a great connection at Granger. That's
Yeah.
crazy to think. Something so small and trivial, you might think.
Another one I think is just remembering small details. So I have another story. It's a quick one, but when I started out college, right, when I became a residential advisor, I met this individual, but I didn't meet him directly. I met him indirectly from a friend, and he's currently in financial planning. Something I'm studying, something that I'm job searching as well. And I found him on LinkedIn, and I connected, hit him up, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but my good friend so and so knows who you are." And she told me that you're someone who can help me with this. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a summer internship." He currently works for Northwestern Mutual, which is a good financial planning. And I was like, this was when COVID hit. All the internships were like gone. So I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, you're a financial planner. I'm currently in the process as well. Tell me or help me out, right? Help me try to find an internship, maybe with your company, or maybe if you know someone who's hiring." And I told him, I was like, "Hey, you may not know me, but we were both residential advisors. My good friend knows you." And like this, he was like, "Yeah, I remember you. I remember seeing you around." And then from there, he gave me his contact information. He gave me his supervisor information. He was like, "Hit her up. If you need anything." I was like, "Wow, okay." So
Seriously,
it's
wow,
important.
look at you, Uriel. You're just you're getting your foot in the door in all these different places, and that's great. And
Yeah,
like
just
you
remember
said,
the small details.
someone else's network is your network. So that's the thing, even though you might think, oh, I'm only making connection with this one person, that person's network becomes your network. Of course, if you, have a good relationship with that person, everything is positive and good to go. that network becomes your network. And then look what happens. Opportunities are just kind of thrown at you almost. Wow. You got all the stories, Uriel.
I
You
got
got the
stories for
playbook.
days.
Okay, so we've talked about, maybe making friends and kind of putting yourself out there. So that might be really easy for some of our more extroverted students. What advice would you give, or what kind of skills um, would you give to a student who's maybe a little bit more shy or reserved? How would they approach, or how should they approach networking?
So I think um, it's a good way, right? A good way to start building a network. Um, if you're an introvert, right? If you're having issues with trying to get out there, is finding different ways on how you can ask a question. I think that's important, right? If you're shy, we have email. You can always email someone, be like, hey, because I've done that before. I may sound confident, I may sound like I'm on top of everything, but I'm shy as well. I'm like in between introvert and extrovert. So sometimes just finding different methods of asking you a question goes a long way, even through email, even through text. Just be like, ask your question. Sometimes you feel more confident asking through email or text than in person, and the outcome is still going to be the same. So I think that's important.
That's a good one. I think with everything being virtual or digital, use that to your advantage, right? Send that email since you don't have to go in person to make that engagement or ask that question that you want to ask through email. And I think your other suggestion of asking a question is perfect. People love to talk about themselves. So if you ask a question, especially an open-ended one where someone can just kind of take it and run, you ask them, what do you like to do? What are you interested in? And then they start going on and on, and then hopefully you can do what you said in the beginning and find something in common, and it becomes a little bit easier. So I think
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
great.
You might find something in common that you never would have thought of, like nuggets.
Like nuggets at Burger King, you never know. And then 2.5 years may pass and you may think nothing of it, and then the opportunity presents itself.
Make sure. Oh, one thing is make sure you never delete your contacts. Sure,
Mm.
always have that in your phone just in case.
So for all of us who might get a new phone every other couple of months, guys, try to be a little bit less harsh on your phones. Keep your phones, because that is a good one actually. Keep your contacts. If you get a new phone and you're deleting all of your contacts every 6 months, it's really hard to network, you know? All right, Uriel, just one more question. So think back to your junior year of high school at Northbrook. What advice, any general advice, do you have for students, kind of trying to be in your shoes? They want to be in college, they want to be a first generation college graduate. What advice do you
My advice is to just be open. Honestly, try to build a friendship with just anyone. Um, a good way. I think another story, a good way to find other people, find people that you never would have talked to in high school, is through your friends, pretty much, right? I know back in Northbrook, we would always sit. We had a small group. We would always sit together at lunch, but everyone has someone else, right? Everyone has a different friend. Sometimes they bring them over and just be like, "Hey, just introduce yourself." Honestly, just be like, "Hey, I'm Uriel. How you doing?" Just keep it like that. Simple as that. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to explain your whole backstory. Nothing. Just say, "Hey, good to meet you." Done. And then, as the days go by, you process that. They start processing. They're like, "Hey, I remember you, Uriel. That's." And then you're walking in the hallway like, "Hey, Uriel, what's up? I'm so and so's friend." And just like that, just like that, you start building a network. You start building friendships. You start building friends. So I think that's a great advice for students.
have? Thank
And
you.
that's exactly what I did, and I'm still doing. So
And you're successful because of it. I love to see it. We love to see it. So thank you, Uriel. Thanks for taking time out of your day to speak to our beloved juniors. Hopefully one day we can get you in and, kind of tell them how great A&M was, and kind of talk to you on the other side of your college degree.
and hopefully I can see these people in person someday.
Yes, that'd be way even more, that's what we would love. That's what we love. So thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you guys.